Hi there, and welcome to Plant CEO. In today's episode, I'd like to welcome Jack Jagodka, vegan stuntman and actor, to the show. So, Jack, when I said to a friend of mine that I was actually interviewing you, she said, "What? Does he come on as a double and just eat vegan food?"
So yes, it's a different understanding. So most of the audience actually understands that stuntmen, they have to be doubles, but actually stuntmen, they are people creating action around the actors. So for example, if the script says that we have to arrest and slightly beat up an actor and just put him in a van and take him away, then you would have specially trained actors to do that, so make sure it looks believable. And also, it's harm-free for the actor because we might be doing multiple takes. So it's more like a stage acting. It's a lot of choreography and everything is safe. So I remember when I was doing that to Benedict Cumberbatch, I had to go on a plane when he's playing a British agent in Russia, and I had to take him off the plane, punch him in the stomach, and just chuck him on the back of the van and drive off. So it's everything that the right angles, but everything must look believable. So basically, stunt people, they actors, I would say it without lines.
Yeah, indeed. And you've appeared in around 60 Hollywood films and TV shows, ranging from James Bond, the new Indiana Jones film, Dial of Destiny, Star Wars, and Game of Thrones. Which was your favorite production to work on?
Difficult to say because they all were great. I appreciate for the opportunities. However, the first one, I think, in my opinion, you would remember it's your first day on set. So that was Tarzan. When you step on set, then you experience the overwhelming experience of the A-listed actors, huge film sets, and big studios. One of the stunts that was for Alexander Skarsgård for the main guy. And I remember the job was in Warner Brothers studio in Leavesden, where you have all the tourists taking you to see a Harry Potter studio. So that was something huge and big sets, and you work with A-listers. So you sit down in a movie trailer and or a makeup or costume trailer, and you have next to you sitting people like Samuel L. Jackson, Christopher Waltz, Margaret Robbins. So yeah, so that experience is quite overwhelming, and I suppose later on towards the journey, you're still excited, but you kind of get used to it and you're familiar with the whole environment.
Yeah. And so you've done very many stunts in your career. Can you recall like your most memorable stunt to date?
To date, well, on Tarzan, there was a lot of stunts, so I had to write wildebeest, but there were CGI wildebeest on racing tracks. And so I had to jump from one to another one. That was like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 miles an hour. You had to transfer from one to another one. Then I had to jump off, grab a bar that was attached to a bridge, and there was a little hole underneath the bridge. So I had to swing under the bridge. And I was on a wire, they pulled me up, and there was one of the mercenary soldiers running away, and I had to land on his back and take him down and just follow Jane, try to save her. So that was kind of difficult to coordinate, but in terms of general stunts, so you do a lot of explosions where you're attached to the wire. So it might go wrong because sometimes we move things around, and if you have a lot of people involved in that stunt, then something can go wrong. But we rehearse so many times to keep it as safe as we can. And on the last show, I had to do a jump of 60-foot bridge, holding hands with another stunt performer. So that's again because you're relying not only on your confidence, but on your colleague confidence as well and skills. So it can go wrong. I had two of my friends badly injured and that they cannot do stunt work anymore.
Oh no.
However, yeah, unfortunately. And however, we're doing those stunts as much as we can. So on the big productions like Hollywood productions and Marvel movies or DC movies, you get a lot of rehearsing times. On the other side, with the TV shows, you have smaller budgets, so you have to be more prepared in a way that you might be rehearsing and filming on a day, and that's it. You don't have any actual rehearsing time. So you have to be quick, safe, slick, and everything has to be believable, and you have to be committed 100% to that as well. So it's kind of a bit of both.
Yeah. And have you faced any major sort of injuries, and how have you recovered from that if you have?
Major injuries, luckily, touch wood, I haven't had any. So mainly it's the cuts, bruises. I had like open cuts with Tarzan when we were rolling on the floor and we were doing some umbongo fight with the chief of the tribe. And I remember that was a silly thing. So just to make look good a paddle where we were fighting, the art designer, I think, they put sandpaper, and whenever I was rolling, the skin was taking off from my elbows, and it's like
No.
the first take, and the blood is just all over, and then trying to patch me because okay, I can't fight with the blood straight away. So yeah, so sometimes things like this you cannot predict because it happens on set, but you have to be really adaptable and adjustable. Apart from that, a lot of bruises, some pulled or strained muscles from running, fighting, because it's great everything when we rehearse in a safe environment without costumes. You wear like a comfortable clothes, but then you have a lot of costumes, like for example with stormtroopers, these costumes are made of plastics, your joints barely can bend, and then you have to perform fine. The visors go foggy after 3 seconds, so you barely can see anything. I remember vividly a scene in Iceland. We were filming Rogue One, and we supposed to stay like a V formation. And I remember after 5 seconds, the whole helmet
Everyone's out of
gets
line as
foggy,
well.
and and
Yeah.
and and you only can see a little because that visor just shows you that limited vision, and people falling off the little hills. It was just like you just praying, oh, I hope it's not going to be me this time. Okay, and we hear on the radio, okay, we've got one stuntman down, one stuntman down. Okay, reset, go quickly.
It's kind of like the visor from RoboCop, right? That
Exactly.
he must have had the same challenge, I guess.
Literally, that's what you can see. And I remember when we created in Bovingdon, there was a scene from the Maldives on Rogue One, and we had to jump off the spaceship into a water. And you can't see the level of the water, so you don't know where the surface is. So it's quite difficult to judge where you're supposed to kind of feel the landing. And a lot of people over judged it and just landed face planted in the water. And this again, reset, go back on the platform, jump off, go back and jump off. So it's a lot of things that you have to adapt and learn on set whilst you're on set, and that can't teach you anywhere else. So you just need that experience. But in terms of injuries, it's just cut,
Yeah.
eyebrow, pulled muscles, bruises. Yeah, nothing major. I didn't break any bones. Yeah, I don't want any
Yeah.
injuries.
Yeah, for sure. And let's hope it stays that way. And how did you decide to become a vegan, and how has it impacted your career as a stuntman and actor?
So I think that's a really good question, and experience with that. I was really curious about why do we believe all those influences and people, gurus, diet gurus, telling us what to eat, what to do, but in a way they don't know our lifestyle, our bodies. So we are expert of ourselves. I always say, try anything and see how your body feels. Your body will give you natural feedback, what you eat, what you do. So hence why I was curious. So I remember over 10 years ago, I used to eat meat, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I was like a big meathead. And afterwards, I'm like, questioning all those protein shakes and that 200 grams of protein, I don't know, 3-4 grams per kilogram and all that stuff. And I was really I was big, but I was kind of stuffed, bulk up. I had high blood pressure, and I'm just thinking, okay, these guys look good from outside, but what's happening inside their bodies, we don't know. Hence why I was really curious to find out. So I met this interesting man on one of the health conferences, Jamie, and he told me about a natural medicine. And he told me I should do hair mineral tissue analysis and a very expounded blood tests. So it gives you, rather than when you go to GP, it gives you maybe 5, 6 markers. That blood tests specific, it gives you maybe 30, 40 markers. So it's more in depth. So basically after the hair mineral tissue analysis, where you take a piece of hair from back of your head from 5 different places close to your skull and send it to laboratory. So you have all the heavy metals, and then you have a blood, all the minerals and rest of the vitamins. And this is the check is so precise that it's about 100 pages document about your body. And it's you actually, what you're missing, what you have too much, and you can prevent any happening conditions in your body. And also you can adjust regarding to your vitamins and minerals, what to take less or more. So I went on meat for 3 months, and I did my tests. So high blood pressure, I was stabbed, a problem with digestion. I was a bit puffed as well. And then I went 3 months to be pescatarian. My mercury level has gone through the roof. It took me 1 year to get rid of excess amount of mercury from my body. And then I went vegetarian. So I had problems with my stomach because of the lactose. We're not meant to digest lactose. And then I went vegan. And with vegan, I got all of a sudden so shredded and also lost about 2 stones. But I didn't have any body fat all of a sudden. And I remember when I was training, I was so vascular. And people were asking me if I'm taking some steroids and other stuff. And I told them, I'm just taking vegetables. And they couldn't believe. It was so funny. They couldn't get their mind around it, that you can look very good and healthy, most importantly, from inside and outside, and just stay on vegetables and healthy diet. And then obviously I started reading a lot of books, mainly vegan doctors and also non-vegan doctors, because I like to broaden up and I listen to everyone. And even some of the non-vegan doctors, like, for example, Dr. Gundry, Food Paradox book, where he is mainly plant-based, but he has some recipes with meat. However, he taught me a lot about different oils, deep fried things, lectin as well, like nitrates and all that stuff. So it was interesting to explore that avenue and what nuts are actually healthy for you, what are not. Yeah, so it's good to listen to both, but he shows the vegan side and I apply only the vegan side to my lifestyle and diet. And again, like I can mention now that it's your lifestyle, it's not only the diet. So it's the stress level, the way you work, your sleeping patterns. So it goes everything. It's like the whole around you, not only diet, because you can have great diet, but you could be extremely stressed out at work and your digestion is not good because all that stress is in your stomach. Stomach is saying it's your second brain, second gut.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite amazing that you went through each of those diets in a space of like 3 to 6 months on each and gave everyone an opportunity in a way to see what effect it had on your body, and then did decide to go with veganism because that was the best for you in terms of your health and all the research that you've done. And now you've been on a vegan diet and even a vegan lifestyle for 10 years now, right?
Yes, 100%. So I've been 10 years and counting. It's been an incredible journey. My high blood pressure disappeared. My body stays in great shape. Everyone tells me that I look younger than 10 years ago, which is great, without any plastic surgeries. It's just like I always say, vegetables and lifestyles. And make sure you surround yourself with people that you love and that don't give you much stress. Obviously, stress is unavoidable, but you can always avoid these energy suckers. And yeah, so it's been an interesting journey, because I remember 10 years ago when I walked on the film set and I said, can I have a vegan option? I'll get a fish. So I'm saying, well, it's not really vegan. So then I will get some cheese. So then I say again, When I'm in vegan, do you have anything without any animal products? And they're like, you've got some potatoes. So there's not much options 10 years ago. However, as we evolved and the whole movement became more popular, and people were people started being more curious about actually veganism and plant-based, we started having more and more options, where now when I walked in on vegan set and craft is a little place where you get coffees and teas in between takes. You get vegan snacks, you got all the vegan plant-based milks, you name it, you have it. Also, I remember about 3-4 years ago, there was not much desserts on film set in terms of vegan desserts. So I was like, okay, this is brilliant, because I'm not even tempted. I just have my main meal and I'm not tempted with any desserts. Oh my goodness. Now you have so many vegan desserts that it's very tempted. Sometimes I have to resist. And even those healthy, like energy balls and everything, they make actually on a day. So it's nice and fresh, mixture of dates and nuts and everything. So, and you've got all the matchas, so that green tea with coconut milk. So it became really good place to be nowadays in film set. So yeah, great food. But I have to say, in terms of my personal journey, I do avoid heavy oil, so any deep fried and processed sugar, that I would avoid. I also don't drink with meals. So when I eat, I never drink, because it dilutes your digestive acids, and the food sits in your stomach for longer. So I'll have half an hour before I have some food, I have a glass of water with lemon, and I put some pinch of Himalayan salt on my tongue, so I have some minerals and it absorbs water quicker. And then after my meal, I don't have any liquids for up to an hour and a half. And then I'll have a glass of water or any other fluid.
So let's say on a typical day, when you're not training for a role, what would you eat? And then let's look at if you've got a role that's going to be more physically demanding, where you need to bulk up. And then let's also look at a role where you need to be like shredded and like, very low fat in your body. So typically, let's start with the one where you're not training, and typically what would you eat in a day?
So I would say when I'm on holidays.
On holidays, yeah.
I'm on holidays. When I'm on holidays, I look for lectin-free foods, which is really light for your stomach. And lectin is basically a protein that harms your intestine. Again, if I refer to Dr. Gandry's book, that's a great book to read about it more. So that would be, for example, I go for flakes, millet flakes, and I put some hot water on top. Then I leave it for 10 minutes. Then I put some coconut milk. But again, you gotta read your labels. Make sure you don't have any preservatives, any artificial flavorings and things in your coconut milk. So you should only have water and coconut. Easy as that. And again, it's the same, refers to any non-dairy milks. Make sure you avoid any oils, because they put oil to make it thicker. And it looks nice in coffees, but it's really unhealthy for you. So I basically read the labels a lot. Once you understand certain bad foods, then you avoid these ingredients in your food. So that would be a breakfast, and I put some fresh fruits on top. I top up with walnuts and sometimes pistachios. The nuts that I would avoid are peanuts, because they're really harmful. They're the cheapest nuts, and actually, when they pick them up in gloves, because sometimes they contain a lot of mold. So peanuts I avoid cashews, they're full of lectin, and I avoid almonds with the skin. So when you have blanched almonds, they're fine. So, and you can easily remove that skin by pouring hot water and leave them for a little bit, and the skin comes off easily.
Why is the skin on almonds bad for you? Because I think some people like soak almonds, right?
Exactly.
Well, to release the minerals.
So why they soak them? Because you remove them skin on one end, and on the other end, they also easily digestible by your stomach, because they soak. Hence why sometimes a lot of pulses we soaked overnight.
Yeah.
But the big thing that I've been recently in is the pressure cooker. because pressure cooker kills a lot of lectin. So for example, if I want to have nice curry or dal, then I use pressure cooker. So make sure I don't get that lectin into my body. It's unavoidable, some of the things, but you can always minimize things that the bad things that for you. So that was breakfast. Sometimes for breakfast I have some savory, so I might have bread, but again, bread I only either bake myself or I buy, which I only use 3 flours: millet, sorghum, and teff. Cassava flour as well. Cassava, coconut flour, but that's more for kind of baking, and tapioca flour. So these flours I kind of create all my baking around. So I use only bread from that, and then I have some savory. I had beautiful fresh salad made of avocado. Then is lettuce. I add some coriander seeds. I stole that from one of the chefs. It's amazing. Then I put some oregano, then lemon juice, cucumber. But again, if I have cucumber and tomatoes, then I peel them from the skin, and also I de-seed them because they contain a lot of lectin. So basically, I didn't know that these vegetables, they purposely have skin and seeds to protect themselves from insects and other things. So hence why some of them you have to peel them and de-seed them.
So there's a lot of things with lectin in.
With lectin, yes.
Yeah.
There are a lot of foods. You'll be surprised how many foods we have with lectin. Like I said, you cannot avoid them, but you can minimize them, and you can replace them with other foods, or sometimes with a pressure cooker you can actually kill lectin, so you don't have lectin in your foods. So that would be kind of so I have either sweet or savory breakfast. Then I would have for lunch, I would have different types of curries, mainly it's boiled food, or I have salad on the side. And for dinner, I will have something along the lines with lunch, just variety. I love different cuisines. I love Thai food, I love Indian food, Mexican. So I just go around all those cuisines and explore different vegan options. And I use a lot of herbs because I believe herbs give you taste. Not meat gives you taste, it's actually herbs. Meat is only a texture. So it's all about herbs. So if you put this oregano, dill, then you have salt, pepper, then you have different curries, coriander, all those spices, then it makes it very full of flavor and delicious.
That's awesome. It sounds great. You're making me hungry now. I was talking about that.
So that was normal day. Then with a bulking day, I would add a lot of coconut milk. So it's high in fat. So I get a lot of high fat, and maybe I have some protein shakes as well. But with the protein shakes, I only use hemp protein because pea protein, rice protein, the rest of them, they have a lot of lectin. So hemp protein is the best digestible for your stomach. So I would have hemp protein before and after meal. I also use EAA, so it's essential amino acids, and I'll probably take 5 grams of creatine a day.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about those amino acids, especially as you're bulking up. Which ones do you tend to use? Like, which brands? What are your favorite brands of protein shakes? The amino acids and the creatine that you've tested yourself, I guess.
I think Pulsing is one of them, or I go to what's the shop name with clothes actually, and they have a lot of like food that in good prices. It's so I go to Holland & Barrett, Whole Foods, and also TK Maxx. Oh, TK Maxx, they have a food section, and sometimes when other shops getting rid of their staff, they it's like, I don't know, 30-40% discounted, and I can find my foods there as well, and it's still up to date. And so I get those supplements. Also, I have omega-3s, so I get from Norway, which is algae with the best olive oil. Because again, the oils I would avoid, and the vegetable and the seeds oil, I avoid them. So I only have 3 oils: coconut, avocado, and olive oil, but extracted. So because the way they extract actually and keep all the ingredients. Then I have B complex vitamins. I also have everyone needs that D vitamin and K2, especially when you live England, and obviously magnesium, because magnesium is like responsible for 300 reactions in your body. So I have a mixture of 3 types of magnesium, because in one capsule, actually, because you have 3 types of magnesium.
When you say reactions, what do you mean with that? How does it help?
So you have about 300 different reactions in your body. So one meant processes in your body. For example, I don't know, recovery, then maybe some thinking, then blood flow, then so you don't have brain fog. So all those different processes happen in your body, and magnesium is involved in about 300 of them.
Yeah. I guess it helps with your nervous system, right?
Nervous systems as well. Yeah, central nervous system, the lymphatic system. So so magnesium is involved in a lot of them.
Great. Obviously, you're having your protein shakes to get the protein, but are you having specific foods that also have high protein, i.e., tofu or certain pulses, beans?
100%. So I would have tempeh, which is fermented beans. I prefer tempeh than tofu, because sometimes with tofu, it depends. If you get a tofu for yourself, so you go for not genetically modified and you go for organic one. However, if you're out and about and you eat in a restaurant, then I'm a little bit careful with that, because they're using, unfortunately, everywhere they're using the cheapest product to make food for us, because they want profit. They don't want to use the most expensive. And mainly restaurants make money on drinks, not on food. So hence why they're going for kind of cheaper options. So I go for a tempeh. I go for different beans, pulses. I use a lot of coconut milk, which is high in calories. I have broccoli. I have different types of nuts as well. So make sure that I have a lot that protein, and on top of that, I just top it up with hemp protein.
Great.
And if I want to really shred, then and be like extremely slim, then I don't have so many carbs, and I mainly go on the healthy salads. So I've got those big salads with a lot of lettuce, dill, cucumber, avocado. Then I have olive oils, then I have artichokes, and I just sprinkle with nice fresh lemon, and put some fresh extracted olive oil, coriander seeds, and salt, pepper, and it's just delish.
Yeah, amazing. So plenty of salads when you're in cutting mode, I guess.
100%, because it's raw natural food, not processed, not cooked, so you contain all the nutrients there, and you can spice them up, and you can choose like Greek salad, then you can eat Mediterranean salad. So I go for different variety of salads. So it's not when people the stereotypes of people think about vegan is we just eat lettuce.
Yeah. And what other, talking about stereotypes, what other stereotypes have you noticed with, fellow actors, other stunt people, film directors? What's the sort of common things that they misunderstand about you?
Well, those stereotypes, you come quite across a lot, because people, they just keep asking you about where do you get your protein from. It's more lacking in knowledge, and I'm always openly speaking about them, and educating people, and encouraging to try. So they ask about the protein, where do you get your protein from? And or I couldn't maintain my body without fish, meat, or this stuff. So you kind of, look, I'm 10 years, I'm in great shape. I haven't touched meat for 10 years and I'm still alive. And if you look at my results, they're incredible, they're amazing. And on the film, so sometimes they laugh at you, like, oh, look, vegan coming. Okay. So they are kind of conscious that you vegan, you go for different choices, but it's kind of, it's the tribe thing. Like you're not part of the tribe. So they kind of, oh, look at the vegan coming. but then they, funny enough, sometimes I came across so many funny situations when people tried vegan food, and it was delicious, but they didn't want to say it's really good, but they asked for the second round. So sometimes it's difficult for them to admit it, because no, it's not vegan, it's vegetarian. I'm like, it's purely says it's vegan on the menu. but just like not be part of the tribe because they might be called up. Go, hey, did you try vegan food today? Oh yes, I did, and it was good. It's okay. It's okay for food to be good and variety. And once you try vegan food, once not, it's fine, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and talk to me about your training. So, what sort of training do you do, as in workout wise, when you're bulking and when you're shredding?
I did in the past, over 10 years ago, natural bodybuilding competition, the Muscle Mania. And however, lifting weights, using resistance machines and static exercises make my body like strong, big. However, for the stunt work, it wasn't really functional because it's a lot of movement, falls, punches and routines, then choreography. So you have to look believable. Your body has to be fluid, has to move naturally. So I moved from weightlifting to more calisthenics, gymnastics, and martial arts. So I did different types of martial arts, movement. I do calisthenics as well. I use Olympic rings. I use different multi-joint exercises like clean and presses, squats with overhead shoulder presses. Then I go to gymnastics in Camden twice a week as well, just to roll on the floor, feel my body, feel where it's tight, what I can work on. It's mainly about the movement. There's the Ido Portal, which is kind of animal movement as well. And there's another guy, Czech guy, I did workshops with him. I think it's called Fighting Monkey. So it's basically, it just teaches you that you've got that long spine and that's the base of your body. And we basically sit most of our life and we neglect all those deep squats and the movement. We reduce our movement, hence why we have so much pain. If you keep moving your spine every day in a different movements, like when we used to be kids, then you keep that youth forever because you wake up and you're ready to move. And also just to take my head away from exercises and all that weight lifting, and then I go to salsa and bachata classes maybe twice a week just to like relax, don't think about gym, and with a great Latin music, just dance and also you learning choreography. So it's kind of useful for work because sometimes on set, especially with a TV job, you show up and you have to create your own choreography on the spot, then perform, film it, and you go home. So to come up with something quickly, believable, and looking good in front of the camera, you have to be prepared for that. So hence why it's good to train in your brain to adapt to different choreographies and be on the spot as well. So when I go salsa and bachata, then you on a day you have to learn choreography and you have to lead as well.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, and it also more relaxing. There's no pressure and everyone's there to dance, and it's physical contact, which is great because when people go out sometimes and they drink a lot of alcohol, listen to loud music and just like moving to the beats, but this is more about actually human contact that we so kind of moving away from. And also you're learning choreography and you're surrounded by people, they're all happy and they just want to come and have a good time and dance.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw a video that you uploaded, I think, on Instagram yesterday, and yeah, you're pretty good mover.
I'm trying, I'm doing my best, but yeah, I remember when I started a couple of years ago after gym, oh my goodness, I could not move. Or when I moved, it was so robotic, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Robocop. Yeah.
Yeah. So thinking about obviously we've gone through the diet, we've gone through, the training side of things. And you're also doing some acting courses as well at the moment, right? You've acted as well. So tell me about that side that you're developing as well.
So as a stuntman, you're an actor without lines. So I thought that maybe I just do acting class after finishing my stunt school, which took me about 4 years to qualify to be one of the stuntmen in elite group of British Stunt Register. And this, I thought, okay, it will be another skill set that I can use because if a director or a producer needs if a director or a producer needs a stuntman who can act, then they can always use me because I'm familiar with acting. I've been studying acting now for 7 years. I'm a Meisner qualified actor. I'll be doing a play about ghosts in Actors East second week of December. So please come and watch us.
We'll put the link up for you. Where's the play going to be?
In Actors East in Dalston in London.
Okay, nice.
We only showing 2 shows before Christmas. It's a Christmas play. So this is more difficult than stunt, I would say, because it's just learning lines and also being on a spot in a character. But you are the character, so it's a lot of research. I didn't realize because a lot of my colleagues, they call themselves actors or stunt actors, but it's on the surface only. So what do you have to do? You have to think about all those layers. So where you have a scene, then where you're coming from, where you are, how familiar you feel with this, then relationship with other actors. Are you mad, sad, or glad? Then what last shared event, independent activity. So there's so many layers that you study and you learn, but then once you step on set, you have to forget about them and work of each other. So work with another partner based on your and their behavior. So it's a lot of in-depth as well. You find those things, they trigger you, and so hence why I understand it's good to have a stuntman when you are a listed actor, so you can just focus on that and don't worry too much about choreography, where you have to fall, where you have to like kind of punch, fall, or attach to the wire. So some people can do that for you because you have to hit the mark, and it depends on the shot as well. If it's a close up, if it's a mid shot or long shot. So that's, again, it's a body language, or only you telling everything with the eyes. So yeah, and everything is real as well, at least with Meisner. So you don't have to put the drops in your eyes and cry. Actually, you work a lot of imaginary circumstances. So you are living truthfully in that moment. So it's great. It's a great journey. I've just started 7 years ago, and it continues. It never ends because you're learning every day. And I think it's another avenue I can go. I can go stunts and I can go acting.
Yeah. So I'm also into acting. So I'm in amateur dramatics and in a theatre panto this year as well. So have you got any advice, especially in terms of learning lines? Because especially if you've got a lot of lines to remember, what process do you go through?
So my congratulations and to you, and obviously as you probably know, you find so much about yourself when you're going through that acting process, because you have to be exposed, vulnerable, and so you find out what things triggers you, what makes you, soft, hard, or whatever. And for everyone is different, so it's everyone's journey. You can't just do this is gonna work for you. But in terms of lines, how I learn lines, I write them down on a piece of paper without any punctuation, nothing, and I learn them as a poem. And I can tell, and whenever I do things around the house or when I train, I tell them myself in my mind from the beginning to the end, and from the end to the beginning. So afterwards, I have to only focus on my acting, and lines are there anytime you call me at any part of the scene. So that's how I learn. But there are different types. There are different types of learning lines. But this is the way I've learned and I've been practicing.
Yeah, awesome. Do you ever put it in the other actors or characters' lines for you to remember the trigger point? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're doing a conversation, for example, versus a monologue.
So we rehearse both, and when we have a conversation, and I know the punch line, I call it, so the last few words of the other person supposed to tell me. So I know, okay, it's my line coming. But again, the most important thing is the contact. One thing, and because lines are only lines, but the whole acting is the emotions and context. I always say that you should see people through the mirror, through a window. So you see people through a window, and you can't hear the lines, but you can see their behaviors, and you can tell, okay, when I'm passing a restaurant sometimes and I see couples sitting, okay, I know if they're arguing. I know if it's a first date, they're in love. You can see from people emotions and expression and body language. Lines are only addition to good acting. That's my personal belief.
Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously the film and TV has gone through quite a lot of challenges recently, especially with the writers' strike. That's today has also officially come to an end, so which is great news for the industry. How's that affected you this year, and what changes do you think will happen now going forward?
It affected me massively because I was finishing a Silo TV series second season, and I was supposed to go on Mission Impossible, and unfortunately the strike has been called, and all the productions, I think about 150 productions, have been stopped. So I haven't worked much since. I only did a few odd jobs for the television, for the British productions, and some commercials, and that's it. So it affected me massively and the whole industry. I think like 1 million people were unemployed because of the strike. But now they agreed on everything. So moving forward, it's actually very good in terms of artificial intelligence and also residuals, because most of the movies go to platforms nowadays. And before, when you do all the hard work and you used to get box offices, and then if the movie does well, then you get on the back of it a little bonus. But with the VODs, which are platforms, you wouldn't get any money, and the VODs they keep all the money. So they negotiated something towards that if the TV series is extremely popular, then they get some bonus money on the back of it. They protected themselves from artificial intelligence because, again, like nowadays, they can literally record 1,000 words of your voice, and they can replicate and do whatever they want with your voice, and the same with your face.
Yeah, and how would that AI affect stunt work, do you think, going forward?
In a way, with the movement at the moment, it doesn't affect that much, but CGI. Before we would have big battle scenes and we would have, I don't know, 300 stuntmen on set. Nowadays you might have 50 and you just multiply them and add them, hence why we have a lot of blue-green screens behind it, and they basically multiply you, and they use less and less people. So it does affect, but it's one of those things is unavoidable. It's because we kind of following the technology. We just have to learn different skills and adapt to the changing environment. It's like you remember, what was the name of the place that used to hire CDs before with movies or DVDs in England?
Blockbuster.
Exactly. So Blockbuster was extremely popular, was doing very well, and Netflix pitched them about the idea of the platform, and they didn't want to hear about it. And look, they're gone. And Netflix is booming and glooming with all the content, and now we have a lot of competitors with Netflix, which is great for the film industry because it creates more work, and also it creates options for us, so they not monopolize the whole film industry. You can go for different platforms, and you must create more content for the audience, hence why we can have more work.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, in terms of CGI, there's, obviously a lot of action films make use of CGI, and that's been there for a while, especially when it comes to that and mixing it with AI and being able to do things in an automated way. That's going to be there. But there's also some people who are like Tom Cruise, who's really into showing real action stunts and him getting involved in that. And you mentioned about Mission Impossible. So I think there's we're not talking about the one that's just come out. There's a second part to the Mission Impossible, and that may still come up again, I guess. And have you taken that opportunity yet? Have you worked with any of Tom Cruise's films at all?
I wasn't lucky enough to work with Tom Cruise. Actually, this would have been my first experience with Mission Impossible and Tom Cruise's team. However, I know them quite well, the stunt team, the team behind the action. So I know that unfortunately when the strike was called on, then they stopped straight away. I met Tom Cruise on a Ready Player One movie. He was filming, I think, Mission Impossible in the same studio, and he just came over to Steven Spielberg and said hello. So I kind of saw him briefly, but I've never worked with him. But he's into stunts and he's into like doing it for real.
Yeah.
Even though one of them unfortunately was quite badly for him, where he broke his ankle and he had to stop for 3 months from doing anything. So it's a risk because the whole production stopped, and it costs a lot of money because all these people are self-employed or limited companies, so you still have to pay them, otherwise they go on another production. So you're taking that risk. However, Tom is a producer, so he calls the shots. So if he wants to do it, he wants to do it. And because all the movies, even when I was working in Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford was not allowed to do any stunts because the insurance company specifically express on any dangerous thing or anything that it can happen, anything, that it has to be a stuntman, because unfortunately, stuntmen are easily replaceable, but with actors, you can't, and the whole production would have to stop. And then the insurance company wouldn't pay any money for any accidents on set because, hey, you guys had in contract that that's supposed to do a stuntman, not an actor, A-listed actor, that now we cannot actually proceed with filming. With Tom Cruise, I've heard the stories, like he has a health and safety guy. He goes and talks about the new stunt and the health and safety. I think I saw one of the interviews about it online. He says, okay, so what do you think? I want to jump off the building here this way, and then I want to run, then I just want to jump on the bike, jump on another building, maybe with the bike jumping. And this health and safety guy, well, I'm afraid you can't do it, Tom. It has to be something different. So next day they got another health and safety guy.
That's fair. Oh my God. They're just doing it until the health and safety guy says yes.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so health and safety people on Tom Cruise's jobs, they really have to think outside the box. So it lines up with Tom Cruise's box.
Yeah. So you basically, all the stunt people are self-employed, have their own companies. Is insurance expensive for stunt workers? For yourself, because you have to get your own insurance, right?
Yes, you have to have your own insurance. Obviously, even if you get injured, it doesn't pay you as much as you would be working. However, it covers you from, especially when you have a mortgage or families to feed. So it does cover you. The insurance costs a couple thousand a year. So it is pricey, but at the end of the day, it's your health most important.
Yeah.
And like you said, you're self-employed, so you cannot get any money if you're not actually physically working.
Oh yeah, 100%. I guess it's a prerequisite for you to have that before you work.
It's the compulsory thing that you have to have. All the productions companies, when you register with them, they ask you for valid health insurance and accident insurance.
And when you decided to get into this work, you had to go through a number of skill courses, diving, right? Yeah, you had to become a master diver as well?
So yes, to become the British part of the British Stunt Register, you have to pass 6 skills out of 12 they give you. So that basically they give you like a long list of skill sets, and you have to take it away, train by yourself, and take exams with people that they dedicate to the exams. So make sure you don't cheat, and you have to also record your exams. So that's you who actually taken. So it's not only paper, but also a video that you are the person who was doing the exam. And you have high diving, so it's a 10 meters platform, so it's about, 50 feet. You have to do 11 different moves: front somersault, back somersault, front somersault, half twist, back dive, reverse dive, all that stuff from 10 meters. So believe me, that was tough. I perforated eardrum. I had a lot of bruises because that speed you're hitting the water with is just quite fast. And so that, then black belt in martial arts. Also, you have to be a professional motorbike rider who takes competition in the UK, the same with car racing. Then horse riding, exam with horse riding, a swords and shield, the riding without saddle, jumping over fences without saddle, stopping on the marks, formations, all that stuff. Scuba diving, you have to be dive instructor. Rock climbing, you have to be as well, second pitch award, I think it's called now. So basically you have to be a rock climbing instructor. Then you have trampolining, gymnastics as well. So you pick 6 of those skills and you have to document that you pass them, and it takes on average about 4 years to do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's also great skills to have, right? I mean, it's hard work. I can imagine, because I've probably done 2 out of those things that you mentioned, but not nowhere near to your level. But it's like, it's quite impressive.
Yes, it's very impressive, and it takes a lot of dedication and time. And once you got on that register, it's kind of revealed, but then it's not guaranteed that you're going to get jobs. So you have to go out there and kind of show people your skills. But also why we have such a difficult procedures to become the British registered stuntman. It's the most difficult in the world, and they want you to be very skillful person overall. Because, for example, if you ever seen for example, on a cruise, which is like a really high boat, and you have a fight on that cruise. So, for example, you're fighting, so you have to be fighting skillful. Then you have to do all the reactions, and then I don't know, A-listed actor grabs you and throws you off the boat. So then you have to be familiar with heights, so hence why high diving, I don't know, 10 meters, 5 meters. Then you have to hit the water in a safe way, and then you have to hold your breath for a minute or something, because the shot goes on. It's a fight, then it's a hit, then it's a fall, and then there's a camera panning down on you, pretending you're dead, holding your breath. So hence why those 3 skills are so helpful, and why you should be kind of overall skillful. So when they employ you, they know that you can fight, that you can fall off the heights, and also you can hold your breath.
Yeah, cool. And where do you stand on alcohol?
What, in terms of drinking?
Yeah, exactly. In terms of your health and when you're training and stuff, the consumption.
So basically, I don't drink alcohol at all. If you drink, then I'll go for the lowest calories and go for straight vodka, get quality. Or if it's really hot day, then I might have a beer, but I'll go alcohol-free beer. Nowadays, they actually taste really good because they develop the same flavor, and also there's no alcohol, and they only have like 60, 70 calories rather than 150 to 100 calories, where normal beer has so much. So yes, so you have a lot of, and I think this kind of industry I've been seeing developing non-alcoholic drinks like gin, wine, and then also beer, because a lot of people are more health conscious and they go for different options.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's this big movement on this no-low, as they call it, low alcohol. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of like other sort of vegan actors, for example, I know you've worked with Natalie Portman, and you've had some good conversations with her about veganism. But is there anybody else that you would like to work with?
I'd like to work with Mr. Phoenix. I missed opportunity to work with him on Napoleon, but hopefully that'll be another project that I can work with. Who else? I don't know if what's his name?
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson, that would be really interesting. He's coming to London. He's doing a play with the actors I actually did a last project with. So Woody Harrelson, he sounds like really open-minded, honest man. So that would be quite interesting to work with him. And he did some great movies in the past as well. So it would be nice to see his craft performing live. I'm going to go to his play. It starts in December and goes until the end of January. But the tickets are bloody expensive. The cheapest one is like £110 in
That's
the worst like seat.
yeah, geez, yeah.
I was trying to buy like 2 tickets, but it came like in the middle of theater. I think the theater is quite small. 2 seats with good kind of visuals, £500 nearly.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
I know, and it's 3 people play only, so it's not like they employ actually a lot of actors. But hey, you know what? Maybe he's raising money and dedicate that money for some vegan or plant-based movement afterwards. So it might be a good cause to spend that money. And I'm
Yeah,
seeing
yeah. He's
they
been quite active in documentaries and he's done a few, especially promoting veganism as well.
he has in the past, so, which is great. And the
Mm.
same with Mr. Phoenix. So that's another thing. Natalie Portman is quite activist, and she always openly speaks about veganism and animal cruelty. So
Yeah.
we have a couple of A-listed, and we also have a great community amongst stunt people. Some of the best stunt people in the industry are vegan. So I have a lot of colleagues that they're vegan and they're great athletes. Ripped, shredded, great performers, and they don't miss meat, and they have a great life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, it'd be good to see you in some vegan documentaries as well.
Yeah, that would be good. I was thinking about actually we should do something amongst our stunt people, doing some cool stuff with some crazy stunts, action sequences, and basically say that hey, like look, we're pushing that body to limits on vegetables, and you don't have to harm animals and eat meat to actually achieve all those goals.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they might be making another Game Changers documentary. I can try and put you in touch with James Wilkes, who was on that show, and then maybe that could be an opportunity. Perhaps that would
Oh,
be quite awesome.
if you have that contact, I would love
Yeah,
that because we can really create some really cool stuff. And I have about 5 vegans. They're in incredible shape and they're really good stunt performance, really, really good. So we can even create like a cool action sequence or something for the movie and then speak openly about
yeah.
things.
That sounds great. Cool, awesome. So, did you know there's a film coming out called Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling? Did you hear about that?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically there used to be a show called The Fall Guy, which was about this. I think it was Lee Majors, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
He used to play this character where he was a stuntman. And now
Uh,
Ryan Gosling, after his obviously done his Barbie and played Ken, is still pretty ripped, and now he's playing this stuntman.
the stuntman.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Obviously, Quentin Tarantino did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's about
Oh
something
yeah,
literally
exactly.
something live.
Yeah.
So they are actually doing on the back of it. Okay, the Fall Guy. When I was doing Fast and Furious 10, Barbie set was next door to us because that was everything filmed in Warner Brothers Studio in Leeds then. So yes, he's still in a good shape. One of my friends, he's doing a movie about a stuntman as well. And there's a documentary, a British documentary about old school stunt guys. I can't remember the name of it, but it is really, really good to watch it because it's properly old days when Titanic was filmed, when all those like Indiana Jones, the original ones, and they actually telling the stories from those film sets. They really are, yeah. The bulldog something around along the lines with that. But if you put like stuntman documentary British production, then you will see the title, and it's great watch, really great watch.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. Um, Great. So thank you so much, Jack, for coming on the show. It was great to talk to you today and learn more about the industry and all the fantastic work that you've done and how veganism has also changed your life in terms of your career as well, in terms of what you can do. And yeah, it's really great to hear.
Likewise, lovely to meet you, and I hope I'll meet you live on one of our plant-based vegan events.
For sure. Let's do that.
That's brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Take care. See you again soon.
See you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, Anna.